I'm peeping out this story too about, because nigga loves some sports, man, some football, some like that. What do you think about the Michael Oher?
The Michael Oher stuff, I don't know what to think about it. I know that when they go out to make these movies on people's lives, they tend to embellish. You almost have to embellish just a little bit because, you putting a story together. And so in between you telling the main thesis of your story, the main premise of your story, you have the little things in the background, the little nuances like somebody stopping at the store, though you may not have stopped at the store during the actual time, just little stuff to make the movie go.
It's fucked up because I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked the movie.
And
to think that, motherfuckers, but it shouldn't be shocking to motherfuckers to know that people take advantage of the underprivileged. You feel me?
You know what though, bro?
And then the situation, he can't, like a lot of us, low income family, poverty stricken, living in the projects, so was like he's saying that was all a plot to begin with.
So Michael Oher is saying this as well, right?
Yeah, he's saying it was a plot to begin with,
But you know what I think though, man? By me being fortunate enough to have a son in the NFL, he's in his second year with the Seahawks now, as you know. Those kids go through a lot of stuff, right? So for any parent in high school thinking about their kid going to the NFL, that's a good dream to have, but it's it's highly unlikely that they are going to go to the NFL. You understand what I mean when you talk about odds? Whenever you have something in which people make a lot of money, it gets more and more crowded. You feel what I'm saying? And the herd kind of gets thinner as far as who's going to get shows the higher up you go, right? Like it's like in Pop Warner, you tell the kids, all those kids that you have in the park,
right?
It may be only 1% of your team that actually goes on to high school and gets an athletic scholarship. You understand what I mean? Some of those kids may not even play football in high school. Then you get to the high school level, right? Only a small percentage of those kids are going to go off and go on to college. And in college, only a small percentage of those kids are going to make it to the NFL because everybody in the NFL is good, bro. From the guy that's the differential between the first round pick guy, the guy drafted in the first round, and the guy drafted in the 7th, 8th round is very minute. It's like this is little things like work ethic, attitude. The guy that got drafted in the 7th round might have had a problem with the weed or whatever. Just little things, which could cause him to slide. That's why the majority of the NFL is made up of free agents and low-round draft picks. Because even with the guys that get drafted in the first round, yeah, they get a bag of money, but they got an immense amount of pressure on them. So I don't know if this lady looked at this kid in high school and said, you know what, I'm going to help him because one day he may become a famous football player. I don't know. And I want to practice what I preach because like we just talked about, the truth is just not as salacious and juicy as a lie.
Yeah.
This sounds, so these people could have very well had good intentions. Like, I don't know why Michael Oher would have a reason to lie.
Yeah, I think he feeling like he was exploited because, apparently they've made millions of dollars off the shit. He didn't make too much money. That could be it too. You never know, man.
Well, it could be a thing to where they just feeling like they invested a lot of time in that dude and they benefiting from it.
Right.
Because again, I'm really choosing to roll the dice if I go pick a big 6'7", 300-pound kid off on the street and say, I'm gonna work this dude, I'm gonna feed him, clothe him, provide for him, with hopes of him going to the NFL one day. And plus, from what I understand, these people had money already.
Supposedly.
Supposedly they had money, or that could have been a part of the film that was embellished. I wasn't there. We wasn't there to make a judgment, but I would say this. If they did do that to that kid that's messed up, if that was their whole thing and it worked out for them, but it was a good chance it couldn't have worked out. It could have went either way.
I mean, I guess I can understand where he coming from because you can kind of put situations of young black dudes from the neighborhood who get exploited. Shit, I was a motherfucker who got exploited. I was 17 years old when I didn't know nothing about royalties or publishing, and the motherfucker came in and took all that shit.
Yeah.
Because they felt like, oh, well, you know, motherfucker don't know. So hey, that I don't know. Motherfuckers just don't give motherfuckers just due of the work they put in. I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I
'cause-
guess they felt like they deserved, you know, more. Like,
Yeah, look, but looking at
mentioned-
this picture, they look happy.
well, that's then, you know, of course shit gonna come out down the line. Like he said, they guarantee, they made sure that their kids got millions of dollars off the shit.
Off the whole story.
Off the whole
So
story.
I think his main gripe may be actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this. Michael Oher, the subject of the hit 2009 movie The Blindside, has come forward with allegations that the wealthy Tuohy family established the conservatorship in which they profited from his name, image, and likeness. And now members of the Tuohy family are now speaking out. The 37-year-old former NFL offensive lineman filed a petition Monday asking that Shelby County, Tennessee probate court for the established conservatorship be dissolved. In court documents, Oher argued that the Tuohys convinced him to sign documents that agreed to the conservatorship in 2004. The 2004 conservatorship filing claims that Oher wanted the Tuohys to be his legal guardians up until he became 25 years old or until the conservatorship was dissolved by a court beforehand. Oher's petition filed Monday stated this conservatorship is unnecessary as Michael Oher is capable of handling his own affairs. Sean Tuohy, the Tuohy family patriarch, told the Daily Memphian that none of Oher's allegations are true. We didn't make any money off the movie. The 63-year-old sports commentator told the Daily Memphian he heard the news of the lawsuit after a friend sent him the article from ESPN who first reported the story. This could be just a misunderstanding, but I feel where he could feel some kind of way at is that, you know, we did this
Damn,
movie.
how old is he? Shit. Why is
He's
they
25.
still... He's 25 now?
No, he's not 25. At the time, it said that the conservatorship they had would go on until he was 25 or whatever.
Or a judge dissolved it. So
Exactly.
apparently, they are still running the conservatorship. That's that Britney Spears shit. It's the
Exactly.
same shit.
Now look at this. I kind of ride with the, like, I don't know again, not to call Michael no liar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tuohy told the local Memphis newspaper that Michael Lewis, the author of the book that the Blindside film is based on, gave his family half of the share of profits from the book, saying that everybody in the Tuohy family got an equal share, including Michael, of about $14,000 each. You know, them book advances aren't really that big, right? So
Okay, but we
were
talking
never,
about the movie.
yeah, let me go on. We were never offered money. We never asked for money. My money is well documented. You can look up how much I sold my company for, Tuohy said. The conservatorship at the center of the petition filed Monday, Tuohy said, had nothing to do with the movie, telling the Daily Memphian it was a way to satisfy the NCAA when it appeared Oher might play football at the University of Mississippi. Michael was obviously living with us for a long time, and the NCAA didn't like that, Tuohy said. They said the only way Michael could go to the Ole Miss was if he was actually part of the family. Tuohy said he sat Michael down and told him, if you're planning to go to Ole Miss, or even considering Ole Miss, we think you should have to be part of the family. This would do that legally. Tuohy said if Oher wants to end the conservatorship now, he would of course be willing to end it. He also told the Daily Memphian that he began to sense a growing distance between Oher and the Tuohys starting a year and a half ago. We're devastated. It's upsetting to think we would make money off of any of our children, Tuohy said. But we're going to love Michael at 37 just like we loved him at 16.
So at 37, why are you still running his shit? Why do you feel that when he turned 25, why didn't you just say we're going to break this shit? Why is it fucking 30 years later and you're still holding his shit? Why?
Yeah, now this is his side. This is what he's saying. While The Blindside went on to make over $300 million at the global box office, Oher alleged that he received nothing from the film while the Tuohys made millions, according to the petition. Additionally, in February of this year, Oher said he discovered that legally he was not actually a part of the Tuohy family. In the film, it was portrayed that Oher was adopted by the Tuohys after he began sporadically staying with the family the summer after his junior year of high school, according to the petition. The Tuohys invited Oher to live with them that July and was later presented with the conservatorship. What he signed, however, unknown to Michael until after February of 2023, were not adoption papers or the equivalent of adoption papers, the petition alleged. NPR's multiple requests for comment from both Leigh and Tuohy and the Tuohy Family's nonprofit organization Make It Happen were not immediately answered. Michael Oher and his attorney also did not immediately respond to NPR's request for comment. So
he said he thought he was signing adoption papers, but what he was signing was conservatorship, meaning that we would control everything, your likeness, image, money, everything. We control that.
You know, what our producer said in the background is that the Tuohy family legally purchased them a big 6'7", 300-pound nigga. A big nigga. They went out and bought them a big nigga. Made some money off of it. You know what? That might become a thing in the South, though, man, because there's a lot of dudes that stay in fucked up environments. That might be the new thing.
Yeah, but, you know, you look at that as a, I mean, like I say it every time. If a nigga can fuck you, he gonna fuck you. If he think he can get away with it, right?
So do you
Same
guys...
shit with the Britney Spears shit, right? What they
Exactly.
thought she was plumb loco, right? She can't handle her shit. So who, the daddy or somebody was running the conservatorship, okay? Then even though after all this time, she like, why y'all still running my shit?
Yeah, and you know the part of this I can't understand? Me and you both have our own biological children, right?
Right.
My son is a fireman. My oldest son is a fireman. He makes really good money. I don't ever ask him for a dime. That's his money.
Right.
Chris doing his thing. I ain't never told Chris, hey, man, I did this for you when you was a kid. I drove you to all these practices, took you to all these trainers.
Let me get something.
And you know how much that costs.
Oh,
you know, I spent the bag on Chris. But I've spent bags on all my children to ensure their future successes.
Definitely.
They don't owe me nothing. I don't look back nothing from them. Now, you know, Chris, if you're hearing this right now, if you want to go on and buy Pops, you make that 53-man roster, you want to go on and give me that F-150, I ain't going to stop you. Or that F-350, you know, you can go on and bless Pops if you want to.
You get double shot.
Yeah, but he don't owe me nothing, bro. I did that because I wanted to see my children be successful. And at 25, they damn sure grown enough to handle their own stuff.
Oh, definitely. And sometimes you're gonna make mistakes, but that's how you learn from them. To me, I look at that like, you know, somebody who just want to be in total control of somebody's life. You know, your finances, what you do, you know, whatever. I think that's a bit extreme. Now, if somebody really has issues in their mental and, you know, they sitting on $100 million, of course, you can't, you know.
Yeah, you got to look out for them because somebody will take advantage of them.
Look out for them. But at what point do you go, okay, let's try to let you work your own shit?
Well, I'll give you a prime example. Chris's first year in the league, you know, he was expected to be drafted, but he wasn't. He wound up going as he initially went to Pittsburgh. First week of the season, they released him. But he went to Miami. He went to play for the Dolphins the next day. He got picked up the next day. And he was on the practice squad with them for a whole year. Then, you know, you went through the whole thing of the quarterback getting hurt down there. They had guys coming off of IR, so they had to make room on the roster, right? So I'll tell you this. Now, when Chris first went down to Miami, again, he's a kid, but that's his money. I suggested to him, I said, dude, why don't you just stay in a hotel for now? You know, until you fully, you know, see how the situation plays out. Because in the NFL, a number of different things can happen. It's a business.
Exactly.
And if a quarterback gets hurt, that impacts your status, especially the lower you are on the down team. And for those that don't know what the practice squad is, the practice squad, they do everything with the team, practice with them and everything. They just don't get to play in the games.
Exactly.
But they make a whole bunch of money to practice.
Definitely.
Pretty much they make a whole bunch of money to practice. They're professional football players, but anyone can get plucked off that practice squad team at any time.
Definitely.
Like if, like let's say the Raiders looking for a corner. They could call him the thing and saying, okay, instead of bringing the older guy back who ain't played no football in a few years, let's get this kid off, you know, snatch this kid out of Miami. He got fresh legs, let's bring him in. But if they bring you in, they got to put you on a 53-man roster. But with the uncertainty of this business, I told him, I said, hey, why don't you wait before you do this? No, I'm going to go get this, man. He went and got him a Leigh spread. Had his spread laid out, furniture and everything. I looked at it one day, he FaceTimed me. I said, damn, man, you living large. Guess what happens 2 weeks later?
Time to go.
the boy Tuohy gets hurt. Tuohy gets hurt. They got a guy that's coming off of IR. They got another offensive lineman that's hurt, so they got to bring somebody in. So with that happening, they're going to have to bring some of those guys off the active roster and put them on the practice roster.
Exactly.
They go through there, okay, son, we'll have to let you go. They only have so much room on the team. But I said all this to say this. I could have told my son and been more vocal about, man, you better not go spend money on that crib, or don't do this, don't buy that car, don't do this. But that's his money.
Yeah.
He had to learn a lesson. Sometimes you got to let your kids make little mistakes so they'll see what you're talking about is real.
You have to. Like, you know, it's nothing better than learning from experience so you can know what not to do. You know, I did a lot of dumb shit when I was young, spending money on this and that, and, you know. And you learn. You became very frugal from that. To where now when you get money in checks, you know what I'm saying, that shit goes into savings and shit. There's nothing that I haven't had, wanted, been, or whatever. You feel me? I went through that stage. But sometimes it's better to let a motherfucker experience so they learn. You know what I'm saying? I tell my son, I tell anybody, you get me? You live and you learn from shit. Exactly. And I took that roundabout way just to give that example because it's his money and I wanted him to learn because, you know, this year, whole different kid. Whole different kid. All his focus is on being a contributor to the team. Nothing else. He not, you know, everybody has goals and aspirations, but you have to wait until you achieve certain things. It's like I tell my family members at home, right? I tell my family, and this is more for like not my immediate household, but the cousins, you know, the uncles, the aunties, and everybody, because see, people that really think you're rich. I let them know, look, I'm making a living that can end at any time. Definitely. I have multiple things that I do to make money, though. I'm a manager. We do this podcast. We got the TV stuff that we doing now. There's other things that I do to make money. Right. But I am not rich by any stretch of the imagination. And you may think you're rich when you're younger because you got this much money. It's the most money you ever had until you start getting around other motherfuckers who really rich. And you realize, man, I ain't got no money. I'm not rich. You got to still grind. I'm not rich, man. I'm like everyone else. I got a job, man. And if I make, only thing I have is the security of being allowed to make maybe one or two small mistakes. But I make a major mistake, I could be through for. Yeah. You got to be careful with shit nowadays, man. I try to be careful with. I try to be careful and watch what I do. Like I said, you go through experiences and then you change shit up. People want to think you different, or you got soft, or you done turn and being somebody different. But man, that's just growing up and maturing and learning from the experiences. So you try to instill that in people you fuck with, your kids or whoever. You feel me? Extra chronic,